Information discussed in this podcast may be sensitive in nature to some listeners. Listener discretion is advised. Jennifer Cahill Shadle was in the middle of a terrible divorce in 2014. It was almost over, but it was a hard time for Jennifer. She didn't initially want the divorce, and her biggest struggle was being away from her kids for any length of time. It was such a rough time for Jennifer that in November of 2013, she moved from her home in State College, Pennsylvania, to go live with her mother in Orwigsburg. Her mother has said that she needed to get out. The situation at home was not good. But by April of 2014, she could no longer stand being so far away from her children. Her mom would take her back to State College. Her divorce would be final soon, and the order for spousal support for Jennifer was $5,000 a month. Certainly, her husband, Sean, wasn't happy about it, but I think everyone wanted the divorce to be over. On May 15th, 2014, Jennifer went to Walmart, a tanning salon, and possibly a Mexican restaurant. Jennifer was never seen or heard from again. Where is Jennifer Cahill Shadle?
I can't tell you the feeling initially when it happens. I mean, I was absolutely frantic.
In November of 2013, Jennifer Cahill Shadle went to live with her mom, Joanna Zamaida, in Orwigsburg. The 48-year-old was battling alcoholism and going through a divorce.
She had to leave her house.
In April of the following year, Johanna took her daughter back to State College to be closer to her kids. She was staying at various hotels, one of those this roadway inn.
Every 2 days or so, she would call me, I would call her.
May 14th was the last time she heard from her daughter, and May 15th is the last time she was seen. Police say that was here at North Atherton Shopping Center.
She was seen walking out of Walmart on surveillance footage towards the Dollar Tree.
Then it got to be Saturday and Sunday, and I left more messages. Monday, I called their house.
That's when Johanna reported her daughter missing. Police say the report was filed on May 20th.
This is the area where she's last seen around. That night, our patrol officers started contacting hotels, friends, and family here in State College.
When Jennifer went missing, she didn't have a car, her cell phone, or her wallet.
There's been no activity on her cell phone since May 14th.
In the days after she went missing, police say they looked at her soon-to-be ex-husband as a person of interest. They say they did a lie detector test and a human remains search of his property. Nothing came up.
We don't have any evidence to show that he's involved.
Jennifer's parents say they want police to keep investigating him.
They're going through a divorce. He starts paying her $5,000 a month, and all of a sudden she becomes missing.
But police say they have no evidence that would prompt them to reopen that door.
We have investigated that angle thoroughly.
Her parents are also asking Ferguson Township Police to turn the case over to the FBI. They don't like the way the case has been handled.
It was just totally frustrating trying to deal.
The lead detective says they've followed every lead, and they're doing everything they can.
I can't even begin to understand what the anger and frustration they must be going through. And it's frustrating for us not to be able to provide them those answers.
These parents say there's not a day that goes by where they don't picture Jenny's smile or remember her being a part of their lives.
You walk around the house and you see pictures of a gal you raised, and if you saw Jenny come into it, she could light up this room.
They just hope someday someone comes forward to give them closure.
Let's find her body so we can respectfully bury her.
Hello, and welcome back to the Where Are They podcast. This episode is about a 48-year-old mother of three who vanished during the midst of a nasty divorce. But there are actually many possibilities here, and the story about what was happening in Jennifer's life at the time in the town of State College, Pennsylvania, is pretty mysterious. Before we jump into the story of Jennifer Cahill Shadle, I want to welcome our newest Patreon member, Misty R. from Washington State. Thank you so much for supporting our show, our mission, and our charity partners. If you have any case suggestions for us, please hit us up on social media or send me an email anytime at canwefindthem@gmail.com. The case of Jennifer Cahill Shadle is a baffling one. I mean, a lot of the ones we cover are, in that they are unsolved, of course, but sometimes there seems to be an obvious answer. Sometimes we know, even if it can't be proven. A lot of people think there is an obvious answer here, and while I think that answer is a possibility, there are some others that might be just as likely when you examine all the evidence. Who is Jennifer Cahill Shadle? Jennifer Cahill was born January 6, 1966. Her parents, Johanna and Ed, described their daughter as fun-loving, charismatic, very interested in art and film, and also took very good care of herself physically. When Jennifer met Sean Shadle, Jennifer was very young. She was instantly attracted to his confidence, his ambition, and his good looks. Jennifer's family does recall that they felt that Jennifer changed after she had met Sean. Not necessarily for the better. She had low self-esteem, and at one point there was some type of family argument that involved Sean. And Jennifer would take Sean's side over her own family's. Now, that could be pertinent information to her case, or it might not be. She was young. She was 20. And without knowing the specifics of that situation, it's hard to pass judgment as an outsider. At 21 years old, Jennifer would marry Sean. They lived in State College, Pennsylvania, and did pretty well for themselves financially. I believe Sean worked in the insurance industry and built up quite a reputation in the area. He was well known and either well liked or completely disliked. It seems there are two different sides if you ask people in and around State College. State College is located in the center of the state of Pennsylvania. It's the home of Penn State University and has a population of just over 42,000. Sean was, possibly still is, well connected in the community. Jennifer, however, began to have some struggles with alcohol during their marriage. At one point, she did join AA and began weekly therapy, and everyone said she was doing much better. It was also said that Sean wasn't supportive of her at all. In fact, on her 1-year anniversary of AA, Sean gave Jennifer a bottle of alcohol to celebrate. In 2013, after 27 years of marriage, Sean filed for divorce. Jennifer originally didn't want the divorce and would fight it in the beginning. And after some time, understandably so, the stress of the divorce was getting to Jennifer. And she decided to go home and live with her mother for a while in Orwigsburg, Pennsylvania. Orwigsburg is about a 2.5-hour drive from State College. Not necessarily that close, but Jennifer had to get away. Living with her mother, Jennifer got a job at an insurance agency. But in April of 2014, Jennifer couldn't stand being away from her 3 children any longer, and her mom drove her back to State College. Jennifer didn't have a car of her own, and for the next few weeks, Jennifer stayed with friends and in low-budget hotels. She wanted to find an apartment and settle down on her own, but was working to save up the money to do so. At the same time as divorce negotiations were starting to wrap up, the judge in the case ordered Sean to pay Jennifer a monthly spousal support payment of $5,000 per month. This would certainly help her start over and get a place of her own. She began to look for apartments or places to rent. Friends of Jennifer's said she was feeling better about the future as she was coming to terms with the divorce. She would have some financial resources very soon, and things were just looking better. The disappearance. On May 15th, 2014, Jennifer went to run some errands. She was back staying at a local hotel. She often bounced between the Roadway and the Quality Inn in State College, and she either used taxis or just walked to get where she needed to go. She did speak to her family that afternoon on the phone, talking about her future plans and how she was feeling more positive about finding a place and starting over. And Jennifer seemed to be having a good day. The next day, however, Jennifer's mother couldn't reach her at the hotel. It seemed at some point Jennifer had lost her cell phone and had limited ways to communicate. When the entire day went by and Johanna hadn't heard from her daughter, she knew something was wrong. Then another day went by and there was still no word from Jennifer. Johanna finally contacted Jennifer's oldest daughter, but she said she hadn't heard from her mom either. By May 20th, Jennifer's mom was in panic mode and called the local police in State College. Now, State College is an interesting area, and by Pennsylvania guidelines, it's actually referred to as a borough. There are several other areas kind of within the greater State College area that are technically their own little towns. Since Jennifer was last known to be in the area of Ferguson, it was the Ferguson police that took the call. But the Ferguson police weren't interested. The search. First of all, Jennifer, at 48 years old, didn't need to answer to anyone. Jennifer was also going through a stressful time. Maybe she just needed to get away. When police asked Sean where he thought Jennifer might have gone, he shrugged and said probably some rehab somewhere. Jennifer's family said there's no way she would go to rehab without telling them. She spoke to her mom daily and her daughters. Why wouldn't she just tell them if she were going to go to a rehab center? Law enforcement refused to look into it any further as Jennifer was an adult. Plus, Sean, being well known and well connected within the community, told police that Jennifer likely just took off on her own, either to rehab or just wanted to leave, and police knew Sean well enough to take him at his word. Immediately, Jennifer's family began calling investigators and using social media to find her, and the battles would begin. The family seriously questioned Sean. I mean, the timing is bad. They're going through a nasty divorce. He's just ordered to pay her $5,000. And then Jennifer goes missing. So many people stood up for Sean, but there were many people that did not. Even Sean's sister came forward to say that she thought Sean knew more than he was saying and that he wasn't the stand-up citizen that some thought he was. Eventually, surveillance footage from the Walmart on North Atherton Street in Ferguson State College was analyzed, and Jennifer is seen leaving Walmart at 4:51 p.m. by herself on May 15th. I'm curious what led them to check the Walmart surveillance footage in the first place and how to narrow it down to a day and time, but I'm guessing someone reported seeing her there, or it was based on a timeline from when she had spoken to her family earlier that day. But things get weird. Police do start kind of looking for Jennifer as a missing person, but she isn't yet entered officially as a missing person in the system. Investigators weren't quite ready to go that far yet. She was reported as being last seen on Walmart surveillance at 4:51 p.m., and it was also said that she didn't have her phone or her wallet with her. I know she had reportedly lost her phone earlier, but I wonder why she didn't have a wallet, and I wonder if she had lost that when she lost her phone. It was also noted that Jennifer was seen in Walmart just before exiting, borrowing one of the clerk's phones at the customer service desk, and this is likely because she didn't have her own cell phone. But no one thought to talk to or ask that clerk about her interaction with Jennifer at all. In fact, to date, that clerk has never been questioned. So the reports do state that she had lost her phone, and there was also a note that came up later that she had lost her credit card and her daughter and ex-husband were supposed to be bringing her another one. It was also said that she didn't have any cash on her, but I wonder how we know that. Finally, 1 month later, in June, police finally enter Jennifer Cahill Shadle into their missing person database. Meanwhile, the family goes to get Jennifer's belongings from the hotel and is told by hotel staff there that they had been trying to reach Sean for several days since the room had essentially been abandoned. Sean had been ignoring those calls. People come forward with claims of Sean's abuse and, of course, his motive for making his wife disappear. And as I mentioned before, based on the timing of it all, it doesn't look good for Sean. He was just about to have to start paying her $5,000 a month in spousal support payments, and he wasn't happy about it. Their children were living with him and fully supported their dad, however. Investigators did bring Sean in for questioning, and they did give him a lie detector test, which they ruled inconclusive. Some of Jennifer's family members and friends say that he manipulated the results of that test by smoking a lot of marijuana just before the exam. But I don't know how they know this or if it's even true. And if it was suspected, why they just didn't try to retest him at a later date. Unless he refused. I don't know. This is really a case of a he said, she said with a lot of these details. The police would eventually also take search dogs trained in cadaver and human remains detection to search Sean's home and property, but nothing was found. While it didn't look good for Sean on the outside, there was absolutely no evidence pointing that he had anything to do with Jennifer's disappearance. Several months go by, and the family, not getting the response they want from the local police, hires a private investigator who immediately uncovers some new information. For a while, the last known sighting of Jennifer was that Walmart surveillance footage, 4:51 p.m. on May 15th, 2014. But soon, the PI learns that she was also seen a couple hours later at a tanning salon in the same shopping plaza. And then, a couple hours after that, at the Don Patron Mexican restaurant, also in the same area. The family reported those findings to law enforcement. Now, Sean and the children stayed out of the media spotlight during all of this, but a family member was able to talk to Jennifer and Sean's daughter. She said that the daughter knew about these later sightings of her mother, but they had decided not to report that to the police because it wasn't important. Unfortunately, a lot like the case I covered last week, actually, there is a significant divide between family members here. There was a Facebook page set up by the family for Jennifer, and you can read a lot of the back and forth discussions there, arguments between family members, friends, and community members. It seems there are two very distinct sides. 1 year after Jennifer disappeared, the family fought to get the FBI involved. They felt the FBI could offer some different resources and might bring a fresh perspective to the case. But the local police refused to involve them. The family went directly to the FBI themselves, who did agree that they would take a look at the case, but said the only way they would be able to do that is if they were invited to assist by the local police, which of course they weren't doing. A family member wrote a direct email and a plea to Diana Conrad, who was the chief of police for the Ferguson department at the time. They were begging for them to get the FBI involved. Here is part of the response that was given from Diana Conrad to that email. This is taken from an online blog, the Happy Valley Citizen blog, which does have a good amount of information regarding Jennifer Cahill Shadle. So here is the response from Diana Conrad. This case is still active and therefore we cannot share all information, but we have met and provided information to the family via their designated representatives, as I'm sure you are aware, on many occasions. Some of the statements in your email do not accurately reflect the totality of the information provided to the police, are not substantiated, and are misunderstandings. That is a segment from the response that Chief Conrad sent back to the family. So the family responded by sending more emails and were subsequently ignored. They never got an answer beyond that. The family has also said that officers were disrespectful to them and rude, and some of them believe it is because of their close relationship with Sean. The Ferguson Police Department has denied that and said they have done everything they can and are doing the best that they can. And they do understand and realize that it's a very emotional time for the family. Interestingly, we also learn about a year after Jennifer's disappearance that Sean tells people that someone tried to file a health insurance claim on Jennifer's health insurance, and they tried 3 times. He told people this, telling them that because of that, he thought Jennifer was alive somewhere and living elsewhere in the country. But there has been no activity on her social security number, bank accounts, or anything else to show that she is out there, anything except these random insurance claims. So, of course, Jennifer's friends and families begged authorities to track these claims, feeling that maybe it is Jennifer, or maybe it's a fraud attempt or a stolen identity attempt. But police refused to look into it further, and this completely baffled the family because even if they believed that it wasn't Jennifer, then you're looking at a case of fraud. The family hired another private investigator to track this claim, which they did. They discovered the IP address that it came from, which looked to be from New Jersey, but they were unable to learn any more. So all of these additional findings were discovered by private investigators that the family had to pay for out of pocket simply because no one else would investigate. Sean maintains that Jennifer must be alive and it had to be her. But many also point out that Sean, being an insurance agent, knew the ins and outs of the business more than others and felt that this lead might have been a red herring to throw suspicion off of him and help convince people that he is innocent. From today's show partner, Fetch. The Fetch Rewards app is a no-brainer, an app that rewards you for doing the shopping you already do. Simply download the free app, scan your everyday receipts, and earn points that you can redeem for gift cards. You can scan grocery store, restaurant, even hardware store receipts. And the best part, you can also set up to automatically scan e-receipts that come into your email. What kind of gift cards can you earn? Airline gift cards, Starbucks cards, Airbnb, Amazon, retail stores like Nike, Adidas, and Cabela's, and even restaurants like Dave & Buster's, Chili's, and IHOP, just to name a few. Or use your points for a gift card for services like Hulu Plus or Instacart. It's super easy, folks, and if you use our link in the notes, you will receive up to 4,000 bonus points just for downloading the app today and scanning your first receipt. Remember, supporting our partners helps support the show. And really, who doesn't love free money? Again, you'll find the link in our show notes. So I mentioned at the beginning of the episode that a lot of people think they know what happened. Of course, Sean, being the soon-to-be ex-husband that was about to have to pay Jennifer $5,000 a month, he seemed to have motive. Some people said he had a history, but there are some other possibilities here too, based on Jennifer's actions those days before her disappearance and her history. What do you think happened to Jennifer Cahill Shadle? Jennifer is described as a Caucasian woman standing about 5'4" tall and weighing around 110 pounds when she was last seen on May 15th, 2014. Jennifer has brown hair and blue eyes and often goes by the nickname Jenny. She was wearing a light-colored V-neck t-shirt, capri pants, and black shoes. She was also carrying a black shoulder bag on the day she disappeared, at least according to that Walmart surveillance footage. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Jennifer Cahill Shadle, please contact the Ferguson Police Department at 814-237-1172.
Just totally frustrating trying to deal.
They're going through a divorce. He starts paying her $5,000 a month. And all of a sudden, she becomes missing.
I do not think Jennifer is missing. I believe Jennifer is no longer with us. And I really felt that from the beginning. There's been a crime committed here. I know it. And it needs to be answered.
Thank you all so much for listening to Jennifer's story today. She's been missing 8 years, and there is a family that is completely torn apart by her disappearance. They do believe she is no longer alive, but they still deserve answers. Closure. Please make sure you give us a follow over on social media as we try and share updates as often as we can. Be sure to download the Fetch app and start earning those gift cards. Again, thank you all so much for tuning into our show and helping spread awareness of these unsolved cases. Someone out there knows something. We will be back again next week with another unsolved missing person case. And until then, stay safe and hug your loved ones.